The NBA draft just a couple weeks away, or I guess it would be a few weeks away. So I know Russ was ready to pounce on that.
He was
ready.
Though.
It's a few weeks away.
It's a few weeks away. It's 21 days away.
It's not a couple of weeks away.
Correct. It's a couple and then some.
A major injury has been announced at the European NBA Combine down there over in Italy. Nikola Topic, who is seen as a top 10 prospect in this draft. Some have him as high as, top 5. You've seen him as low as, I think the lowest I've seen Topic at is 12 in a mock draft. You would know. You have the Patreon grid that you put together
Indeed.
Over the weekend. His range is, some people see him as bona fide top 5. Some have him slipping down to like 12-ish. But he is a top 10 prospect in this draft, and it was...
at one point in time, there's plenty of people who are willing to put him 1.
It was revealed today that he has a... It's funny. They're calling it a partially torn ACL. He has a torn ACL.
The way we talk about injuries now and the downplay, no, his agent, we're going to be in the draft. He's going to be fine. It's an ACL. He's going to have full ACL reconstructive surgery. That's what's going to happen. Stop doing this.
Yeah.
We need more clarity with injuries, not less. The obfuscation crap like we saw with Philadelphia with the 76ers and Daryl Morey and Joel Embiid. Well, it's a procedure that may or may not be done around or near the flap of his meniscus. And it's like...
Wait, he has a flap in his meniscus. That's a meniscus tear.
It's like, so he's having a meniscectomy. No! Well, he's having the flap trimmed. So it's a meniscectomy. Okay, cool. Like, it's just... The stuff that they end up going through over and over and over again with this stuff, it's like, look, man, Joel Embiid missed 3 years of basketball because of injuries. Like, we know. Like, the dude had 3 red flags coming into the draft that were so bad that people were like, I don't know if we can draft him. He still went 3rd because the talent was so overwhelming. But with Topic, like, this was out there 6 weeks ago.
Well, and it was always talked about as he's had a couple of knee sprains.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing serious. He's had a couple of knee sprains that he's had to work through. Well, a torn ACL is one that deters teams because then your rookie season is thrown out the window. And you're going to be taking whoever takes Nikola Topic at whatever range he's now going to be in. You're basically saying we're not going to have him for his rookie season. He has had knee injuries in the past. Now, have they been ACL tears? No, but this one is one of a few that he has had of knee injuries, and this is going to be a red flag. What will be very fascinating is how far he falls in this draft. And then with that variance that we talked about and that you have up on your Patreon of, if you look at all the mock drafts, the ranges of all of these other players, this could have been a hand grenade just thrown in the middle of the living room of the NBA draft.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, there's opportunity there for a team like the Spurs to be like, we've got 2 picks in the top 10.
Take a flyer.
We could take him on the 2nd pick at 8 because he's definitely going to be there now. He's 100% falling. He's got a torn ACL, likely going to miss the season. Maybe he comes back post All-Star break to start ramping up for next year, even though ACL recoveries now is like 6 months as opposed to what it was when we were younger, 12 to 18 months. It's significantly improved. It's still a
Science.
still a torn ACL. And sure, he could go full Adrian Peterson and come back in 4 months or whatever that absolute S show was. But he's 19, doesn't need to do that. Just chill. But that volatility in the top 10 is bound to get spicier now. There's been plenty of talk about promises that have been made in the NBA draft already. The back end of the first round, guys like Baylor Shireman, Tyler Kolek, Deron Holmes are all guys I have heard have had some version of not a guarantee, but maybe a promise, a near promise.
And then we have today the Atlanta Hawks saying, we're doing our due diligence on Donovan Clingan. They have the number 1 overall pick, and they said, no, we're going to do our due diligence on Clingan because why not? It's not just Sar and Ricochet.
They don't know. Like, this is not a shot at the Hawks. This is what I have heard from multiple executives in the league. The Hawks don't know what they're doing yet. They don't know what they're doing with Trae Young. They don't know what they're doing with DeJounte Murray. They don't know what they're doing with Clint Capella. Them getting the first overall pick was such, I mean, they were 10th in odds. Like this was not in their planning sphere. And in a offseason where already there was going to be so much disruption and turmoil with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray.
Pre-lottery, it was, hey, they're shipping Trae Young out, and they're going to try to see what they can get in return.
I mean, that's still, I think, the most well.
Now you have
here's an interesting thing on Trae Young. The possible returns for Trae Young are probably less ambitious than what the Hawks would like, so they may end up keeping him and trading DeJounte Murray instead. Because this is the interesting thing, because even if the return for Young was better than it was for Murray, there's perception in ownerships and front offices. They don't like. Remember, they gave up Luka Doncic to get Trae Young. Think about that for a second. So if you're going to move on from Trae Young and you take less, yeesh, that's
brutal.
That's
dude.
tough. Even if it wasn't your decision originally, even if it's a new front office, a new group, and that kind of like. Everybody wants to talk about, well, it should be about basketball. No, there's a lot of ego involved in these kind of transactions. And because of that, it could do incredibly weird stuff throughout the draft. And what I've heard coming in here, as far as like latest draft intel, is that the Bulls are a team that are looking to move up. As weird as that sounds, they are looking to move up from 11 to that mid-range spot. I think they want to try to move up and get Klingon because Vucevic, look, I love Vooch. He's not a lot of tire left on those treads. A lot of treads left on that tire. And he wasn't really happy there. They need to reset there. They don't know what the hell they're doing with their guards. Lonzo Ball's talking about coming back, and he's got one leg longer than the other. It's just, I wish the guy well, but what the hell's going on? Patrick Williams can't stay healthy, nor can he stay consistent. So that's a weird little bubble of disruption, right? Now you've got Topic in there. Now you've got, and we can talk about this later, Tijon Saloon moving up the draft board. We're 3 weeks away from the draft, and there are already major spark point storylines that are coming up that are going to be massively disruptive.
And all of them affect Portland at 7 and 14
Yes.
Because when you look at, all right, if Topic is a guard, right, and Blazers don't seem like they're in the market for a guard, but the volatility in every other range of player outside of Sarr and Rizache, right, is so high in this draft, you have zero idea what teams are going to be doing. And the fact that you're looking at Topic being that 3 through 5 kind of range guy in most mock drafts, it kind of just seems like that's where he's at. Boy, that really changes things directly in front of Portland and where they're going to be drafting at.
So does that allow them to trade back because there's more volatility because the other team wants to jump up for somebody else instead? Does that mean they need to capitalize a little bit sooner? We'll dive into all of the mocks later in the show because everybody's putting new ones out now as we get closer. But this is where I start during the Birdman hands. I get super excited. This is where it gets real weird and fun.
How far do you think he falls?
Still in the lottery, but back into the lottery.
14 to Portland? Hey!
I mean, we never had point guards with knee issues.
And he's tall.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's what, 6'6"?
He's 6'6".
Yeah.
So we've had shooting guards with knee issues. We've had centers with knee issues.
No.
Shoot for point guards with knee issues. No, I'm kidding. Everybody relax.
But maybe. All right. Well, again, Blazers have 2 highly touted prospects reportedly coming in Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, well, there should be a solo workout tomorrow, and I believe a solo workout on Friday. Both are lottery prospects.
All right. That's the latest. Nikola Topic has an ACL tear that affects everything moving forward. In the next couple days, we're going to start really finding out how teams are evaluating this and handling this situation.